Hey guys, have another installment here of smart money moves for pre-retirees. As always, this is not personal financial, tax, or investment advice. It's just for education only. So today, I want to talk about smart money move for pre-retirees looking at your investments. Now, we've talked about a couple different categories already, such as Social Security, Roth conversions, and some other considerations. But when it comes to looking at investments, I want to give you three things to think about. The first is, what is your asset allocation? So it's very common as people start to think about winding down for retirement that their risk tolerance decreases, meaning they have less years to make up for a loss in a portfolio, whether that's a 401k or an IRA or other accounts that you've been saving in for retirement. Now, I will say in general, that makes sense, but specifically, it's not always the best choice. So you really need to specifically look at your situation because it really matters. Not so much when you retire, but when you want to withdraw from an income perspective, the money that you have saved for retirement. Those are not always the same thing. That's the first thing. The second thing is you need to think about the tax implications and strategy that might make sense for you. So let me give you an example. Some people retire and they work full-time one day and the next day they don't ever work again. Some people really fade. And so there's an opportunity when you fade in retirement, meaning if you make less prior to your quote full retirement, you can take an opportunity of things like tax gain harvesting. If you have something like a brokerage account, that could be really beneficial. The opposite could be true. If you know that you're going to have some high tax years or maybe some real estate transactions, you could take advantage of things like tax loss harvesting. That would also make sense if you know you're winding down a business and you're going to have a large liquidity event. And thirdly, when you think about your investments going into retirement, you need to think about what your overall plan is and maybe how you want to leave money to people behind. Now, this implies that you already have a really good financial plan in place, but there are really some ideal types of money to leave to your heirs. The least tax efficient would be leaving tax deferred accounts, because not only are you forced to take out the money, I'm thinking things like an IRA, traditional IRA. If you take out the money later in your life, the government's going to make you take out more and more from a percentage basis every year that you live, and then you may pass that down to a child who might be in their highest working years, and they have to liquidate the account in 10 years in most cases. Conversely, you could have a taxable account, which is subject to capital gains, which is lower than federal income tax brackets typically, and then also Roth IRA, which is tax-free forever. So thinking about how this might impact those not only currently drawing income, but also who you want to leave it to. Hope that's helpful. I'll see you next time.